Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tipped Balls podcast. I am your host, Sam Randazzo, and I am joined today by my two absolutely stunning co-hosts, Uncle Sam and Bruce, the Tugboat Venditti. We are back with part 2 of our Tipped Balls Power Rankings 2.0. If you listened last week, we did number 32 up to number 15, and today we are coming back with number 14 to number 1. We also go over our Coaching Scumbag Hall of Fame and have a few goodies in there for you at the end. Here we go. Number 14.
Well, no, are you gonna name them or?
Listen,
They got sauce.
They
They turned around
they got Jermaine Johnson.
and got
from
Jermaine
Florida State.
Johnson.
And I said this, hot take, Jermaine Johnson will finish the year with more sacks than Aiden Hutchinson and Thibodeau.
Again, let's stop and look at this. Their roster,
It's loaded.
if you erased the name New York Jets, that's what I tried to do with this.
Right.
I tried to erase the name on the headliner. If you put their roster, Miami's roster, and New England's roster together, it ain't close.
Yeah.
It ain't close. Their schedule is a little bit more favorable. I mean, their defense is
Listen, they got probably the best back in the draft.
best running back.
Yeah.
Well, and they have
I know. They got Michael Carter.
Michael
already.
Carter too.
I know.
They're set up.
They're
I'm
set up
sorry.
to make an absolute run.
And if
Robert
I was
Saleh should be so happy right now.
dude, I'm telling you.
Their team is going to be leaps and bounds better than they were last year.
I mean, it's not even going to look like the same team, I think. I think they're going to be the most improved team in the league. Period. End of story. They had the best.
Well, I don't know about that. I have one team in front of them, most improved.
They had the best. They had the best draft out of anybody.
Yes, I agree with that. Their draft was the best out of everybody.
It was.
No, I agree with that.
It was.
We said that the night of the draft.
Realistically, it comes down to if Zach Wilson can stay on his feet
Correct.
and play above average. He ain't got to be great.
See, that was one thing I would have loved to see them,
Is address the offensive line.
and they didn't.
I know.
And that's the only thing that
You only do
scares
so
me.
much at once, though.
Yeah,
And I mean, their defense is
their
going
defense
to be
should be very, very good.
incredible. So I'm going to put the Jets at 15. At 14, the Dallas Cowboys. This is another
How
one.
many games you got them winning?
I have them also. So I have Miami at 9-8, the Jets at 9-8, and Dallas at 9-8. I gave them a D for their offseason grade.
That's about right.
Yep, they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything to get that much better.
Right.
They had a chance at a lot of good players.
Yes.
Vaughn Miller showed interest in going there. There was talk about Khalil Mack going there. They didn't do it.
They didn't have the cap space.
That is true. They didn't address the Ezekiel Elliott situation.
No.
That was not great. They let their most consistent and probably most grown-up player in Amari Cooper leave.
That was
got
a
rid
huge
of him.
mistake for them.
Dak is still Dak. They drafted offensive line, which they needed to do.
Yes.
I'm good with that.
Yes, I was good with that too.
They could have gotten better. They could have done a lot more, and they didn't.
Here's the thing. It doesn't matter who they bring in, what they do. Mike McCarthy's still the coach.
And Mike
That's all I'm
McCarthy,
gonna
there
say.
it is.
That's all I'm
Mike
gonna say.
McCarthy is still fucking
He's still
Mike
the coach.
McCarthy.
And if he said why they didn't just give that, give the young kid, what's his name? The kid from Boise, their offensive coordinator.
He used to be a quarterback here.
He was here in Detroit.
Fuck, I'm looking at his goofy face in my head, and I can't remember.
Yeah, he's goofy as shit. He looks like Bruce. The hell's his name?
Thought I looked like Aiden Hutchinson.
What the hell's his name?
The boy.
Oh, you don't look like Aiden Hutchinson.
Oh, that's-
You wish you looked like Aiden Hutchinson.
That's not what he said.
He's 6'6".
I didn't say it.
Yeah.
He said it.
Anyways, but yeah, Dallas D off season 9-8, missed the playoffs. Typical Dallas Cowboys year, or
And that'll happen
or
again this year.
because the NFC is so much less talented than the AFC. Dallas sneaks in a wild card spot and gets popped in the first round.
Yeah,
by
because they're supposed to add a wild card spot, so
Well,
That
either
could
way,
happen.
Dallas will be Dallas in their typical fashion. 14 might be kind of high for them.
I
but
think it's real high for them.
I gave them.
Your last three teams I feel could be better than them.
I'll be honest with you. Dallas's schedule's not horrendous. Look, if we can pull that up real quick.
Kind of
But
light for them.
It was.
You do have the Jets right behind them, which, with the most improved team, it doesn't quite make
Well, I'll
How?
say this.
How do you
I think
figure?
New England is better than Dallas.
Dallas was a playoff team last year, though.
Correct.
So
Why, I don't know.
the Jets won 4 games. No, Jets won what?
4 games.
4 games. So yes, the Jets are the most improved team, and Dallas just stays where they are, like usual.
And the Jets have draft capital for next year, too.
Correct.
Fuck.
Holy
shit.
Can you pull up Dallas' schedule, please? I mean,
Well, they got Seattle week 1. They should be able to beat Seattle.
Seattle, Tampa,
They'll
Bengals.
lose Tampa. They'll lose to Cincinnati.
that preseason.
No. Oh, yes, it is.
That
Yeah,
is-
the
They
Buccaneers their
should-
first game.
They should be able to beat the Giants.
I agree.
They should beat Washington.
Agree.
So that's 3 wins.
They're
They're
gonna get-
3-2 right now.
They're going to get
They'll
pummeled back.
lose to the Rams. They'll lose to Philadelphia.
No, they're 2-2. That first game you were looking at was a preseason game.
Which one?
Their first game is Tampa.
Not the Seahawks.
Oh, I thought
Seahawks
they
is
were playing
preseason.
Seattle first.
No. So
Oh, all right. So they'll lose to Tampa, lose to the Bengals.
lose to the Rams.
They'll beat the Giants. They'll lose to the Rams. They'll lose to Philadelphia. The Lions game is a toss-up game. They should
It
win
always
that game.
is.
They should beat the Lions. They should beat Chicago. They'll lose to the Packers.
Absolutely.
That Vikings game, they got to go at the Vikings. That's not going to be an easy game.
I had
for
that as a
them.
loss for them. Yep.
They should beat the Giants again. The Colts, they could lose that. The Texans, they should be able to beat them. They should be able to beat Jacksonville. They'll lose to the Eagles, and they'll lose to the Titans.
So you have them winning 9.
And
I got them winning 9.
You got them winning 9.
they play Washington
I
again.
guess you're right.
You guys are forgetting that games carry over into the next year.
Okay, so then he has them winning 10. You have them winning 10 games.
Who did?
That bottom game is in. For some reason, this has it separated
Yeah,
because it's
it has it by
2023.
The
but yeah,
Washington game?
you have them winning
Yeah.
10.
You know, they'll probably split with Washington.
Well,
and,
then they have 9.
and Giants. They'll
You have them
split
beating
with
the
them.
Giants twice and beating Washington twice. So if they
No,
drop
they
one of
won't do
those
that. They
4,
won't beat them twice.
okay. At 13, this is going to be low for a lot of people, but I have the Tennessee Titans.
No, I don't think that's low at all.
I think they're going to go 10-7.
They've gotten better, but they did nothing.
But did they really get better?
I mean, come on, dude. Malik Willis.
Did they really
I
get
mean,
better?
where did they get better?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
That's a wasted pick for them. Do they have they just
Well-
given up totally on
That's the whole thing. They obviously don't think Tannehill's going to take them to the next
that's
level.
what it looks like.
Which it's not. They're
That's
not
what it looks
wrong.
like.
They're not wrong. But if they're going to do that, they have to be prepared for the consequences that come with it. Which is if Tannehill's going to be gone, Malik Willis needs to be ready to go immediately.
I see Malik Willis as Jordan Love.
And you know what? It could really end up that way. And you
Yes.
piss Tannehill off for no reason.
Yeah, you're going to ship Tannehill off come probably at the end of this year.
Yep.
If they don't make noise
Correct.
in the playoffs, I'm sure Tannehill will be gone. And what do you got then?
Well,
What do you got?
Tennessee went 13-4 last year, didn't they?
Yes,
And at the end of the day, yeah, you're going to win 8 games because of Derrick Henry.
correct.
But you lost A.J. Brown.
Yes.
You did get Robert Woods, but we don't know what he's going to look like still.
Oh, Robert Woods will be fine. He'll be ready to go. And Robert, I'm gonna be honest with you, I would take Robert Woods over AJ Brown.
Wow. That's
Robert
a hot
Woods
take.
is a proven commodity in this league. He made Jared Goff a superstar. Come on, let's be honest.
I'll
In the
be
Cooper
honest.
Cup.
I'll be honest.
Yeah,
I threw this one around a lot because they could win 12 games, but I just 10 games seems like the number for me for them.
Okay.
Because at some point teams are going to say, okay, Ryan Tannehill's not that great at throwing the ball, so we're just going to hammer the box on Derrick Henry. Like, at the end of the day, they're the most run-dependent team in the league.
they have to.
They have to.
Yeah.
So if that can only last so long, teams saw that last year. They won 13 games on the heels of Derrick Henry. And when he was out, look what happened to him in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That was it. So
They were done.
they were
They
done.
were done. He
And
came back for that playoff game and was not himself.
defensively.
He was awful.
Defensively, I don't think they're as good as they were last year.
No, I don't. I agree. You know what? They re-signed
Landry.
Harold Landry. I love that guy. I wanted him in Detroit so
Same.
bad. But,
did.
you know, is what it is.
At 12, I have the San Francisco 49ers going 10-7 as well. Gave their offseason grade a B.
They still have not addressed.
They don't know who's going to be. I mean,
We don't know who's going to be quarterback.
no.
So guess what? It's they're going to win 10 games on their defense alone.
Right. And at the end of the day, you still have George Kittle.
Right.
You still have Deebo Samuel for now.
Correct.
But he's not
And
happy.
You still got a really good young running
And
back
Elijah
there.
Mitchell, yeah.
I
mean,
like
they're
that.
very complete still.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They're a very
Ayuk,
complete
they
team.
didn't miss anything.
No.
Actually, I think they got a little better because they upgraded their secondary, and that's where they needed to
Yes.
upgrade. And they've done that in this offseason.
So
they'll win 10 games just on their defense
yeah,
alone.
I gave them a B. I don't hate what they did.
Yeah.
I did not like all the noise with Deebo. I don't like the fact
the noise with Trey Lance.
that right. This is the whole
Yeah.
thing. If you're gonna make Jimmy Garoppolo your old yeller, take him out to the barn and shoot him already. Just let him go.
Listen, Garoppolo's still better than Trey Lance. They
I
need to
agree, but
stop.
then stop
Yeah.
talking about it.
Yes.
If Garoppolo's your guy, come out and say
Hey,
Jimmy
he's our
Garoppolo's
guy.
QB fucking one.
Jimmy's
We're
our
running
guy,
with him.
and Trey is backing him up.
Right.
Period.
And if the
And that's the way
time
it should be.
correct, and if a time comes where we feel like Jimmy is no longer effective, then we will put Trey in there.
Yes.
But as long as Jimmy is effective, he's our guy.
He's the guy.
Right.
Everybody knows he's the guy.
And see,
Because Trey Lance had his opportunity.
and he squandered it.
Exactly.
So
Where did
but
that
this
go?
is the thing, and this is why I have Tennessee where I have them. That's what you're gonna have that same shit show, that same
Correct.
rigmarole that's been going on in San Francisco for 2 years, going on in Nashville now.
I agree.
Because everybody's gonna be sitting there waiting for Malik Willis. And then Tannehill will have his one fucking shit box game and throw 4 picks, and they'll toss him out there before he's ready, and he'll look like shit too. And then you'll just say,
he'll
okay,
throw it up into the upper deck.
yes.
And they'll be like,
And
what the
it'll
hell?
be-
Who
it'll
was
just
they?
be a
Who's he
shit show.
throwing to?
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so we're at 11 now. I gave this team an A+ for their offseason. At 11, I have the Las Vegas
Raiders.
going 10-7.
I agree with that. Listen, finally, they've given Derek Carr a weapon that he needed since Amari Cooper left.
Agree. And you want to know what the worst part about
Finally.
this for me is? I have Vegas at 10-7 and in last place in their division.
Yeah, they're going to get in on a wild card. Yeah.
This is where this got really, really tough for me.
I think it would be tough for anybody to call that division, period.
It is.
Yeah.
And honest to
draft.
God, I have everybody in the division's 2 games apart.
Yes.
That's it. There's no outliers. Everybody's 2 games apart.
Their defense improved immensely.
Vegas,
I don't even think we need to go that route.
realistically, Vegas's defense could be the best in the division. And the worst part about it is, realistically, their offense could put up insane numbers. The way that their schedule's set up, because that's what this came down to for me, trying to pick where these 4 teams were going to end up. If you look at the schedule, it's just not the back-to-backs.
Hey, what did I tell you that guy's name was? On the there was a guy who he does a podcast, just put out his list of running backs, and he had Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, that-
at 31. Oh shit!
It was
He had Josh Jacobs ranked at 31, ahead of Edwards-Helaire.
I don't know what that dude is smoking.
Listen to
I
me.
mean, I
As
fucking
Josh
need
Jacobs
somebody-
goes, the
'cause that
Raiders
is
will go.
ridiculous.
Period.
I think that you're a little high on him.
I'm sorry?
I think you're a little high on Jacobs.
Why?
Because I'll be honest with you, I don't see them. Because I was with you a couple weeks ago. I thought about it. I was like, oh, yeah, they're going to have to run the ball. They're going to run. That's what's going to set it all up. I'll be real. I don't think there's in that division.
Oh, I think you're going to see the opposite of that. They're going to throw to open up the run.
Guess what? I don't think there's gonna be much running.
Really?
All these teams, if you look at their roster makeup, if you look at everything, if you look at the schedule, if you look at what it's going to take for them to win, Derek Carr is. I mean, you have to outscore
Derek
everybody.
Carr was great last year.
You're going to have to average 35 points a
Yeah.
game in that division to win games.
Or you shorten the games up by running, and you keep the other team's offense off.
They
field.
could, and
Yeah.
out of all of them,
And I see them doing an offense like that.
out of all of them, that could work the best for
Yeah.
Vegas because their defense is so stout.
Yeah.
They could.
And plus, they got a new coach, like you said. It's going to take time to get that
Correct. It's going to take time for them to mesh.
right.
And I still think they're going to win 10 games just
Okay.
off of sheer talent alone. So I have them there, like I said, A for offseason. They got Devontae Adams. I mean, you don't even need
And
to do
Chandler
anything
Jones.
else. And they got Chandler Jones, right?
That's it.
And they locked
those two.
Max Crosby up to a long-term deal.
Yep.
You know, they put their alliance in their quarterback. Derek Carr's their guy now. I like
And you know what? I was glad that they did that
I agree.
because they pummeled him around the last 2 years, and I don't think that was right at all.
So these two teams for me almost swapped. Vegas and at 10 I have
I don't know if this is breaking news or not, but the Commanders apparently just purchased 200 acres of land in Virginia.
great, they're going to build a new stadium.
$100 million for 200 acres.
That's cheap.
That's not that far from there.
No, it's all right there.
Yeah, DC's right next to Virginia.
At 10,
Breaking
The
news.
shithole.
Breaking
anyway.
news.
Go
at
ahead.
10, I almost swapped these two, but at 10 I have Baltimore. I have
Ravens.
Yep, I have them going 11-6. I gave them A for their offseason.
Oh, absolutely.
Uh
Their draft was good.
yes, they drafted extremely well. They got
Yeah.
Go ahead, say it. I think they honestly getting rid
Sorry,
of
I was in the foothills of the Himalayas with Xi Jinping. We traveled 17,000 miles together, I think. I'm not sure.
okay, I don't know what that was. Here we go.
When you start to stutter like that, that's what Joe Biden does, and everybody says it's okay, so I'm going to try it.
They got rid of Hollywood Brown. I think that needed to happen. Mark
Yeah,
Andrews is still, to me, a top 2 tight end in football. Realistically,
I think he could be the best tight end in football.
Yeah.
I really do.
realistically, I think they have the best group of young running backs in the league as long as any of them can stay healthy. Lamar Jackson is still Lamar Jackson. Their offensive line is nice. Their defense is nice. They're extremely well-rounded. They're extremely
And they've
explosive
gotten a
when
lot
they want
better
to be.
defensively.
They've gotten much better defensively. They could be in the mix there towards the end. If all the AFC West
They're going to
teams-
challenge for the division. Period. It's either going to be them or Cincinnati.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think
period.
it's very close between the two of them.
I do too. I do too. It could go either way.
So I have Baltimore at 11-6. At number 9, and again, we're splitting hairs here amongst these three. I have the Denver Broncos going 11-6. Gave them an A- for their offseason. They got Russell Wilson.
What's going on with Jerry Jeudy?
Jerry Jeudy was cleared. He's good.
Okay.
Which leads me into their receiving cores could be stellar.
Yes.
Absolutely stellar. You have Jerry Jeudy. You have Cortland Sutton. You have I'm forgetting his name right now. Tim Patrick. You have a good young receiving core. You got one of the best running backs in football. Young running backs in football.
Absolutely. And they re-signed
Melvin Gordon.
Just
Just as a and you know what? That's a beautifully serviceable number 2. I'm good with that. On defense, it's starting to come together now.
yeah, they have some young players that
It's starting to come together.
that's
though.
really starting to shine.
Yeah. I mean,
There's those two factors of having Russell Wilson and the receiving core are probably the only reason.
Oh, that period is makes them a playoff contender right there.
absolutely. Their only thing is they're in the gauntlet division.
That's the toughest division in the league, period,
Right.
bar none.
And as long as all them split with each other, like I have them doing,
Yeah.
So
And
what
that's
I
a good
did,
thing because they beat up on each other.
right?
That's a good team
Realistically,
for the rest of the NFL.
what I did with the AFC West is I didn't factor in the division games. I just gave all of them 3 wins. That's what I
Yeah.
did. Because how are you going
Split
to
it.
decipher that? Right,
Just
just
gotta
split it
split their
across the
games.
board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? If I'm wrong and Vegas goes 11-7 and Denver goes, or I mean, I'm sorry, 11-6, and Vegas goes 10-7. If they swap,
Think about that. Whatever team could rip off a to win a series,
yes,
meaning to win 2 out of the
we'll
2 out of
probably
the 2
win the
games,
division. Yep.
divisional games, they can win 1 extra game out of that division games. Like if they beat, let's say they beat the Raiders twice,
Yeah.
or Kansas City can beat the Raiders twice, they're in line for that playoff spot.
Yeah.
That's going to be huge.
I
It's
agree.
going to be huge.
Nutty.
At 8, I have the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay. To me, I think they should be a little higher, but
You know something?
I'm going to be honest with you. I think
I mean, think about the teams that are left that he has.
That's what
think
it
about
was.
the teams that are left,
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
and think about how much they've improved just in one off season.
Well, don't forget, Philly was a playoff team last year.
They signed James Bradbury this week
I saw that.
to play opposite Darius Slay.
so that's what I was 8 is probably right where
I'm sorry?
he's so right on 8.
Uh,
What's left?
I gave him an A+ for their offseason.
Okay.
Okay, here's the thing. Schedule. I have them going 11-6.
Okay.
But the thing is, there's the teams above them, when you stop and think about it in your head, there was one team that, and I had them
They're going to
switch.
run away with their division. We know
Yes.
this.
I am at 11-6. I did have them up 1 spot, and I switched it at the last minute, and I don't know why. Because realistically, I probably should have put the fucking Rams at 8 and the Eagles at 7. But
I think
something
that might
told
happen.
me, I was like, the Eagles are still getting it together, and they're still young, and
That's
they'll
true.
drop a stupid game that the Rams won't, and that the Chargers won't,
Okay.
and that Cincinnati probably won't. And that's why they're at 8. And
Well, this is what makes it totally exciting. Week 1, they come here to Detroit to play our Lions, and you will get to see the man-child live.
I have a bet for you.
I'm sorry?
I have a bet for you.
Okay.
How confident are you in the Eagles' ability to beat the Lions?
I think the Eagles will beat the Lions by 2 touchdowns.
Just to win. Just to win.
Okay.
If the Lions beat the Eagles week 1,
Okay.
you have to get a Stafford number 9 tattooed on you.
A Stafford. Why would I get a Stafford number 9 tattooed on me? Why would I do
The
that?
Eagles are your team. The Lions are Bruce's team.
I truly believe the Eagles are going to be in the NFC Championship.
Okay. Are you going to take the bet?
I don't want to tattoo Stafford on
Well,
me,
how
no.
confident are you the Eagles will beat the Lions?
How confident am I?
We have a
I'm pretty
lot of
confident
bets
about
going
it.
on.
So then why don't you take the bet?
I'm not tattooing Matt Stafford's number on me.
Will you get a Detroit Lions logo?
How about this? I will tattoo Kelly Stafford on me myself, right on my Schwanson.
You'll what about the Detroit Lions logo? Anywhere of your choosing.
He'd probably
On
do that-
myself?
He'd probably do that anyway.
What are you talking about?
If the Eagles beat the Lions, you get the Lions logo tattooed.
I will. I'll
You'll
get
do
the
that.
Lions logo tattooed on me. In fact, I'll get it right on my hand where everybody can see it. What? You have a problem with that?
Okay. So Philly at
I was gonna say
11 and
William
6.
Play forward, but
Philly, yeah, get Martha.
The WC.
oh no, Martha with
Huh?
the glasses.
Get- WCF?
No, what if we got a picture of Martha tattooed on you?
Martha who?
Martha Ford.
Martha Stewart?
All right, real quick. I want to look at Philly's schedule. Do you think 11 and 6 is fair for them, or you think they're gonna,
I truly believe they will absolutely smack the Lions week 1, turn around and smack the Vikings week 2.
okay?
Okay? They'll beat Washington. They'll beat Jacksonville. I got them beating the Cardinals. I got them beating Dallas.
I got them dropping that.
I'm sorry?
I
got them beating Pittsburgh.
You have them undefeated through 7
Hold
weeks.
on, I'm
already.
not done. I got them beating the Texans.
Okay.
They'll beat Washington again. They will lose to the Colts.
Okay, that's 1 loss.
Okay? They'll lose to Green Bay.
Okay.
I believe they probably will lose to Tennessee.
Okay.
They will beat the Giants.
Uh-huh.
They'll beat Chicago.
Uh-huh.
And they're probably going to lose that game at Dallas.
Okay.
I got it beating the Saints and beating the Giants.
So you have them going 13-4.
Okay.
I have them at 11-6.
Okay.
Because I think Philly will drop that stupid game.
That stupid game?
Yep.
The first game of the year?
Yeah, something like yeah.
The first game of the year?
Okay, moving on.
I just can't wait to see their defense. I just want to see their defense. That's it.
Their defense is going to be stellar.
I just think Nakobe Dean and Jordan Davis, you will be amazed by Jordan Davis pushing around guys like they're little kids at the NFL level.
I believe that.
I was watching a little thing on him, little film on him on
Yeah.
a triple team,
Uh-huh.
and 3 guys had him, and they couldn't punch him. 3 guys.
Said that.
And they were playing. Who were they playing? It was somebody. NC State. Their center and both guards all grabbed him, and of course Trayvon Walker made the sack on the play.
All you see
because
him
he
do
was
is just-
one-on-one
He just digs
and-
his right leg in and
Huh?
shifts his hip. In the video, he like digs his right back foot in and shifts his hip and just holds all 3.
Yeah, he holds all 3 of them back. It's stupid. Yeah,
Wow.
kind of positioned his foot like this, dug it into the ground. They couldn't move.
Oh, he's going to be exciting.
He might not have the big sack numbers that,
But that's
that
okay.
you see these guys have.
That's okay.
But it doesn't matter. When you got Ragnow going to go up against that monster, and then you got Fletcher Cox on one side of him, and then Javon Hargrave on the other side. My God.
Damn.
Holy shit. They're going to have to keep all the backs in the block.
At 7, also going 11-6, and with a B- off-season grade, I have the Los Angeles Rams, the defending Super Bowl champion, and Matthew Stafford-led Los Angeles Rams.
I will say this now. I don't think they will have the year they had last year.
Well, I don't have them having the year. they had last year.
I just don't see them.
I think
advancing.
11-6 is fair for them.
I think Stafford, you seen his ceiling last year, and
which is the Super.
and it wasn't that good. It took a lot for them to win. It took that stellar defense to pull it out for him.
Well, here's the thing. We've seen teams win a Super Bowl and then come out the next year and shit the bed, i.e. Atlanta.
Absolutely. Well,
Be in the Super Bowl. And then come out the next year and shit
it doesn't
the bed.
matter. You've seen teams win Super Bowl and then come out and get their ass
Carolina
punched.
would probably be better than analogy.
Oh, Denver won.
Well,
Well,
that's
yeah,
hello.
that's true. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
The guy that got the Rams there last year isn't there anymore.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say.
I
Anyway.
think the Rams are going to take a step
So
back.
you
from
know who
last
I'm
year.
talking about.
Mhm.
Should we even go there?
Nope.
I'm sorry. What was that right in the beginning of that game when he sacked him?
Anyway.
When Vaughn Miller got to him? Joe Burrow? Early in that game? That set the tone? Same thing when he was...
Nobody hears.
Same thing when they were at fucking
disagree.
Tampa. Same thing when they were at Tampa. The sack of Brady early set the tone. Go ahead.
Anyways,
Sorry.
the Rams 11-6, B- off-season grade. Obviously, they lost Robert Woods. They lost Vaughn Miller.
You lost so much.
They got Bobby Wagner, which I like.
I love the Bobby Wagner pick. I love that because that's where they were weak.
There's still a huge question mark for them. Is Aaron Donald coming back?
I mean,
he'll be
he's
back.
been
I don't-
training like he.
I don't. I've been watching Aaron Donald
The
training.
last talk he
Yeah,
had, he was still undecided about his return.
He was training last couple days
Did
ago.
you see that video? He trains with knives. Some dude
Guess
stabs
what?
at him with
Ray Lewis still trains. It doesn't mean
Hey,
he's gonna make a
Ray
comeback.
Lewis killed a dude.
Anyways, but
knives. Did he though?
Allegedly.
Did he though?
the
Allegedly.
schedule is not friendly for the Rams.
I don't think it is either. They're gonna have to go through a gauntlet. They're gonna have a tough time with just the teams in their division, let alone
True.
having to go on the road to play Tampa or go to Philly or
And
something like that.
I'll be honest, Matt Stafford doesn't have the cool and yawns to go out and win two
Cool
Super Bowls
yawns?
in a row.
I
Yeah.
hear you.
But moving up,
You don't
Staying-
have the stones.
staying in the same town at 6, I have the Los Angeles Chargers going 12-5, and I gave them a B in their off-season rating.
I agree with that.
They didn't do much. They didn't really need
They
to.
really didn't need to. I mean,
Wait,
they
who?
kind of let it come to them.
Chargers. They got Khalil
That's
Mack.
good. They re-signed the guys they needed to They re-signed Mikeyymullens. They got Khalil Mack, and that's going to be a huge thing for them.
That's huge. I would have loved to have seen them draft Trevor Penning, but it's
well,
okay.
you know how I feel about Trevor Penning. That's
It's okay.
my dog.
We'll move on. They got the offensive lineman they needed. The gang is still there.
Yeah.
The receivers are still there.
The secondary is very good.
Secondary is incredible. Austin Eckler's still good.
Yep.
Don't worry about the Chargers. They're going to finish it. They're going to do better. They're going to show you this year what they left out on the table last year.
That's true. I agree with that. And that one more wild card spot's going to help all these teams here.
At number 5, I had them much lower last time. Okay? Point blank period. It's the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
I have them going 12-5, winning their division. I gave them a B overall. I have them with the same record as the Chargers.
Okay.
I think that division's that close. So I have Kansas City at 12-5, the Chargers at 12-5, Denver at 11-6, and Vegas at 10-7.
Okay.
And I think that division is realistically going to pan out that way. I will say this. If the Chiefs weren't in that division, they'd be up higher. Because when I did this originally, I had them at 3.
Right.
And then I stopped and I was like, oh, well, they're going to have 3 losses off the bat.
Right.
So it's not like they're going to go 14-3. They're going to drop other games. I believe they play the Rams. I believe they play Tampa. I believe they might play Green. They're not going to lose 3 games. They're going to lose more than 3 games.
Right.
So
yeah, because I truly believe that, like I said, the division games are going to decide who goes to the playoffs
Agreed.
and who doesn't.
You know, and I had them. This is how fucked up.
And he was kind
is.
of exposed last year. The Cincinnati Bengals exposed them last year.
Well, this is what I'm going to say. I had the Chiefs a lot lower before.
Yeah.
I stopped and I thought about it, and they drafted well, and Karl Loftus and Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes, and
he's cute.
The band will be together, and they'll be.
Listen, they'll be there. They're going to be there, and I agree with you about them winning their division.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
they're going to be hard to beat.
They're going to be.
But like
hard.
I said, they were exposed. Mm-hmm. They were exposed to a team that had a stout defense. That when they come down to making plays, that's what happened. And Pat Mahomes didn't fare well under the pressure, and now he lost his most valuable weapon. I agree with what you said.
The cheetah.
At 4, I've got the Green Bay Packers, and I have them going 13-4.
Well, what are you going to say?
Excuse
They're going to win.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
I have the Green Bay Packers, and I have them going 12-5.
Okay.
Now, I'll be the first one to say it. After night 1 of the NFL draft, I gave the Packers a D-.
Well,
after day 2 of the
I
NFL
think
draft,
everybody reacted the same way you did.
I gave them an A+ after the day 2.
You know, I looked at it, and I seen Quay Walker, one of the outstanding linebackers off that Georgia defense.
I don't even want to talk.
And then turn around and grab Devontae Wyatt.
They revamped.
My God.
They did. Guess what? Point blank period. Green Bay did everything they had to do. Period. They did.
That's it.
They did. And guess what? Odell Beckham was there last week.
Okay.
He was in Green Bay.
Okay.
Could you imagine that?
If they could slip him into there, if he's ready to go.
Not if he's ready. Let him come back halfway through the year.
He'll start out on the PUP list in week 7.
If that happens, watch the fuck out.
It doesn't matter because they got Christian Watson. That's going to be the next big name.
You know what?
Aaron Rodgers is going to make him a superstar.
OBJ again.
Here's the thing. I hated the Packers receiving core before those 2 additions because all those guys who are now 3, 4, 5, 6 were 1, 2, 3, 4. Now
they're back down to where they should be.
It's beautiful. Those guys are back to where they should be. And guess what? They're great there because now they have their top 2. They're good with that. Aaron Jones, good with that. Everything's copacetic again there.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to really miss a beat now. They did exactly what they had to do. And they bolstered some spots in their defense that they were weak in.
That's true.
So Green Bay is going to be Green Bay fashion. Number 3, I have the Cincinnati Bengals.
Bruce looks like he's ready to pass out over here.
Because we were talking about Green Bay. I fucking hate Green Bay. Excuse me.
Okay, anyway.
At 3, I have the Cincinnati Bengals. Point blank period. They are, as far as They're one of the youngest teams in the league. They are one of the most dynamic teams in the league.
They would have to have an incredible run to stay where they're at 3 there. They got to have a hell of a run to go there.
But everybody said nobody expected the Bengals to be anything last year.
Right. Well, that's because Lamar Jackson was hurt. They didn't really have to worry about them down the stretch. You could either see the Ravens there or the Bengals there.
You think Cleveland's going to beat him twice?
Huh?
You think Cleveland's going to beat him?
You never
Pittsburgh's
know.
going to beat him?
You never know. I don't think Pittsburgh is going to beat anybody. Cleveland, I think the jury's still out on Cleveland. The jury's still out on them. We don't know what's going to happen we don't know where we're going to hit. We're going to get the amazing acrobatic Deshaun Watson throwing the ball all over the field, and they're going to beat them in the end. Who knows?
Okay.
Are we going to have Baltimore run away with the division?
The Bengals had one weakness last year. Their offensive line.
They addressed it.
And they addressed it more perfectly than you could have ever asked. They have 3 of the best young receivers in football. They have Joe Mixon, who we all agree is one of the most underrated great running backs in the league.
Yes.
Their defense is solid as hell. And I think all of them playing one more year together now, and now they had a taste of it. Joe Burrow seems like the kind of guy.
I hope they can repeat. I really do.
Joe Burrow seems like the type of guy where he's going to be extra hungry now, extra determined.
And let me tell you something.
Really
that experience that they got last year means everything.
I'd rather see the Ravens there.
Huh?
I'd rather see the Ravens there.
I don't think it's.
You know what? Let me tell you something. That experience, that taste of the playoffs they got last year, that's enough to make any team hungry.
Just throw down the
and
reverse
they
card
were
again,
so close.
Last week
they were so
they were
close.
going to take a step back.
Hey,
so here we are.
They
again.
were so close. There was 2 minutes fucking left. They were so close. They're so hungry.
Yep.
They're so close, and the referees fucking banged them, finger banged them. They were so close. They want that taste again. They want it. And like I said, I hope they can go through the gauntlet this year to get there.
I do too.
Because you're going to have to, I think they're going to have a harder time this year than they did last year. Because guess what? All the other teams that they played, that they beat, got better.
You're going to be disappointed in me.
Why?
I made a change.
Okay. If you tell me that fucking whatchamacallit is second now, I'm going to throw up.
Are you ready for my reasoning?
Yeah, go ahead.
This morning I had Buffalo at 1.
And Buffalo is number 1.
Well, like I said, I'm doing this based off of how many games I think a team is going to win. That's my power ranking. I think Buffalo is going to sweep New England, the Jets, and the Dolphins. Sweep them. Win all.
2 out of the 3.
So they're going to drop at least 1 division game.
2 out of the 3.
Okay, they're going to drop at least.
That's my opinion.
They're going to drop at least 1 division game.
That's my opinion.
Buffalo schedule. I have Buffalo going 13-4. I gave them a B overall for their offseason rating. They brought in Von Miller. They drafted pretty well.
Listen, they improved their team to win a
stop.
Super Bowl.
Let's stop. They start with the Rams. So they play. They started with the Rams. They play the Rams. They play the Titans. They play the Chiefs. They play the Packers.
They could possibly lose that game at the Rams.
Okay, but stop. They play the Rams. They play the Rams, Tennessee, the Chiefs, and the Packers.
Look at that,
Keep going down.
Hold on.
They play the Ravens.
They play the Rams, the Titans, the Dolphins, the Ravens. The only game they got that's easy is the Steeler game.
Thank you.
Then they come back. They got to go to Kansas City, where they've already gotten lost there. They could lose that game with the Packers going in there. Could beat them.
So tell me that that's not a possibility they lose 4 games.
You know what this is telling me? That these other teams, you could see a team like the Jets make some noise.
Thank you. Wow. Now it all makes a little bit more sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, they'll smack the Lions. They'll smack the Browns.
But you
that game at the Patriots is always a tough game. The Jets going there.
Then they play the Bengals.
Oh.
So stop. Let's think about
the Bengals, and they end up with New England going there.
Right. Say they drop 1 to New England and 1 to the Jets.
Yeah.
And then they beat Kansas City and Cincinnati and lose to LA and Tennessee.
I don't know.
Beat the Ravens.
They got a gauntlet to go through.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
why I made the switch.
Well, yeah, obviously Tampa Bay has an easier schedule.
13-4, and I have Tampa Bay at number 1 going 15-2.
No, they'll win 4 games.
It's going to be a
Well,
challenge.
like you've said,
See what
they
I
will
can do.
drop 3 to 4 games.
Like I said, I did this by dissecting the schedule. And realistically,
Can you pull up the Tampa Bay Buccaneers schedule?
Tampa
Not
Bay.
the Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
Half of the episode last week was us going through Tampa Bay.
We're going to go through this real quick, and then we're going to end today. So, but realistically, okay, if you want to say 14-3, say 14-3. They will finish
They're
with
going
the
to win
best
14
record
games.
in football.
They're gonna win 14 games. They'll win their division. Like you said, they might drop some stupid game they have no business dropping.
1, 2.
I truly believe they could lose the Packer Chief.
They'll lose one of those two. They won't lose both. I agree with you there.
If they can, here's the scary part. If they can beat the Packers and the Chiefs at home,
That's it.
they have a chance to run the table.
This is how I figured this. Okay, they're going to lose one of the 2 games to the Packers and the Chiefs.
And
They're
here's
gonna
a
lose one of the
little
2
gauntlet
games.
for them. At home, all their hard games are at home.
Right.
The Rams, the Ravens, the Chiefs, they play the Bengals at home.
Now,
They could run the table.
that's what I'm saying.
They could run the
That's
table.
what I'm saying. They're going to lose 2, possibly 3 games.
If they could stay healthy and not have any major injury,
They could go 15-2.
They could. Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Yes, I agree with that.
So
I agree.
that's it. Let's recap it one more time. I have Tampa Bay, Buffalo, Cincinnati, Green Bay, Kansas City, the Chargers, the Rams, the Eagles, the Broncos, the Ravens, the Raiders, the 49ers, the Titans, the Cowboys, the Jets, the Dolphins, the Patriots, the Browns, the Cardinals, the Colts.
I actually think the Patriots should be higher than that. Go ahead.
We did it.
Yeah, you're right.
The Vikings, the Jaguars, the Lions,
Okay.
the Saints, the Giants, the Steelers, the Bears, the Texans, the Falcons, the Redskins, the Panthers, and at the bottom, the Seattle Seahawks. So,
So hold on.
Yep.
When I said that Tampa Bay has more of a chance to go undefeated than Seattle or Atlanta
going winless.
going winless. I think Tampa Bay has a better chance.
Oh, they have a better shot of running the table, I think.
Then Seattle doesn't.
Hey,
going
it's hard
winless.
for teams to fucking lose every game.
Yeah,
It really
fuck
is.
It. Hey, you
You got to
accidentally
be a
win
real
games.
dumpster
Yeah.
fire to lose every game.
So, AFC North, I have Cincinnati winning. AFC East, I have Buffalo winning. AFC South, I have Tennessee. AFC West, I have Kansas City. And with that the way it is, the wild card teams would be the Chargers and the Ravens. If they add the extra wild card spot, Denver would get in. In the NFC, I have Green Bay, Philadelphia, Tampa Bay, and the Rams. And then the wild card teams would be San Francisco and Dallas. And if they add the extra one, then you slide the Vikings and or the Cardinals into that spot.
Yeah.
So, realistically, I think that all made a whole lot of sense to me. And then, think about your teams that would get your first round buys. In the AFC, it's Buffalo and Cincy. Because Kansas City, LA, Denver, and
Well, it's whoever
Raiders,
finishes with the better record, too.
right. They're all going to
So,
beat each other up.
Correct. They're going to beat each other up.
In there. In the NFC, it's Tampa Bay and Green Bay again.
Yeah.
With Philly right
Really
there. With the Rams a little bit
I don't
behind.
know if I drank the Philadelphia Kool-Aid. Maybe I have.
A little,
Just
but
because I'm like enamored with their
it's
defense.
warranted. It's
'Cause
warranted.
I'm enamored with their
brotherly love.
defense. Hassan Riddick signing there, I thought was huge. That defense, the front seven of that defense is going to be stupid good. And the back end has gotten even better.
I
They
agree.
signed Bradbury. I mean, he's a top corner, dude. And to play with Darius Slay, to have the the two safeties they have, they are solid up and down the board. Up and down the board.
I agree with that. So
they need the bell cow running back. They don't have it.
they'll get there.
They'll get there.
They still need a couple pieces. That's why they're at 8 and not at 5 or 6. But before we close today out, I came up with my way too early Super Bowl predictions.
Oh, God.
Okay?
Yeah.
I picked who won the division. I really broke this down. Okay?
Let it rip.
You're going to think.
I'll tell you it's not going to be Tampa and Buffalo.
Well, guess what? I have Tampa and Buffalo. I have Tampa beating Buffalo.
I don't think Buffalo will make it to the Super Bowl.
Well, my honorable mention there, but there's no question in my mind. Tampa Bay is going to the Super Bowl from the NFC and winning it. No questions asked. Brady wouldn't come back if he wasn't going to win a Super Bowl this year. Period. That's it. I know you want to argue it. We're not going to argue it.
Well, you still got to figure out who's going in there for the AFC. Because
AFC
anything can happen.
The AFC,
You watched the rug get pulled out from underneath them last year.
I don't think it's going to be Kansas City. I don't think it's going to be Cincinnati. Realistically, I think Buffalo.
I would actually love to see the Chargers
The
make
Chargers
it there and
literally
play
my honorable
and
mention.
play a team like Tampa. I think they match up better with Tampa than the other
But
teams.
this is why I'm going to stick with Buffalo, because I see a lot of last year's Buffalo team and this year's Chargers team where they can come out and win 12, 13 games and look really good and be the favorite and be still a little too young.
Here's the
and a
thing:
little
can
immature.
Josh Allen repeat what he did last year?
Yes.
And here's the thing on him: he's gotten better every year he's been in the league.
Yep.
His completion percentage, everything has
goes up.
gotten better every year in the league. Is he going to take a step back?
I don't think so.
He has a new weapon too.
Yep.
If you remember in the playoffs, Greg Davis, the receiver, the big receiver, Gabriel Davis, sorry. He was outstanding in the playoffs.
I'm telling you, I think this is it.
You think there's a better chance of two machines going at it for the Super Bowl rather than a repeat of last year of a team that wasn't supposed to be there at all?
Oh, I think that's going to happen. But in the NFC.
So make your
You're gonna see a team come out of nowhere to maybe San Francisco.
Think about it.
Maybe the Packers
Hold on.
finally get over the hump.
Every single team has a question mark outside of those two.
Yes.
Outside of Tampa and Buffalo. Is it
Well, I don't believe Tampa's better than Buffalo. We know that.
correct? But
I think they're better than Buffalo.
where does Buffalo have a weakness?
It's just who's going to get hot, who's going to be healthy, and who's going to get hot.
I think
That's what happened with Cincinnati last year.
think about it this way. Usually, the NFL runs in waves. Last year was unpredictable. This year,
I think this year's pretty unpredictable to be.
year, I think the storyline is going to be.
I know
straight
what
up.
you want it to be.
No, but that's
But
truly what I think.
Okay.
Like, think about who is going to go into Buffalo in the play. Buffalo was literally a coin flip away last year from playing Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Who's going into Buffalo this year now with the number one game changer in the league and Von Miller out there and beating them? It's tough.
The New York Jets.
Probably once. I agree with you there. Probably.
Wouldn't it be
once.
so? Hey, wouldn't it be something if we're sitting here right now, right there, getting ready to watch the Super Bowl, and you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New York Jets? Wouldn't that be absolutely silly?
What if it's the Philadelphia Eagles and the
that?
Baltimore Ravens?
Everyone in New York could be
The Ravens and the
shitting their
Eagles, I think
britches,
that
dude.
would be a great matchup.
So those are our power rankings.
Could you imagine that though?
Okay.
Could you imagine if the New York Jets,
yet.
dude? I think the whole city of New York would blow up
It
Probably.
if the
would.
Jets made it that far.
Well,
Because they love
that's
the Jets.
That's the thing, they would lose.
They love the
and then it
Jets
would
there.
really be on fire.
Yeah.
Huh?
Brady would beat the Jets.
And they would really.
Yeah. Then they'd burn down Manhattan.
He'd have to do just like Joe Namath did back in the day. Call
I'll
a
tell you
shot.
what, there's no way Brady's losing to the Jets.
No.
Yeah.
Anyways, before we close out today, anyways, power rankings.
I like your power rankings. I think
I put a
your
lot of work
list is
into them.
pretty
I did.
pretty spot on.
I did.
I have to say that. Hopefully, we'll see some stuff to mix it up a little bit. We don't want to see injuries.
Is there anything that really?
I would rather see it done the right way, and that's just to play hard and do it.
Is there anything that really like stood out to you as okay, that's ignorant
Ignorant?
out of this? Is there any that were bad that you thought were really bad? Like I have Detroit at 23.
I still think the New England Patriots are going to be better than what you.
I know you do. I'm going to stand by that.
That
one.
whole midsection is all up in the air still.
I think any of those teams can leapfrog each other. It's just who's gonna get hot?
Don't get me wrong. Like, could Cleveland be a game better than New England, Miami, and the Jets? Yes. Could Dallas be a game worse than Arizona and Indy?
Oh, absolutely.
So this is just
who knows? Maybe the Dallas Cowboys get hot this year and they go on a tear.
Please.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Right, Mike? Mike
The
McCarthy?
Dolphins go off.
Going to go on a tear this
if
year?
you want to reference our power rankings, they will be on our Instagram. They will be on our TikTok. They will be on tipballs.com. It will be in blog form with my reasoning for why I think everybody's going to end up where they do. Before we close out, we've been promising you guys our complete and full scumbag Mount Rushmores for players and coaches. Now, Uncle Sam's ready. And he's going to present the full-on Scumbag Hall of Fame.
All right. We all know that Pete Carroll is the George Washington of our scumbag Mount Rushmore.
Are you typing this out?
And
Type this out. Pete Carroll.
Right behind him, who would be Thomas Jefferson, is, of course, our longtime college nemesis / pro weirdo freak
/ butt
guy.
finger banger.
He's just disgusting in every aspect of the word disgusting. Pete Carroll and Urban Meyer.
There he is.
Urban Meyer. He's the Thomas
Go
Jefferson
Gators.
on our scumbag Mount Rushmore. Now, it became kind of hard. I needed two more guys. And, of course, Jerry Sandusky, the assistant coach of the Penn State Nittany Lions.
There he is.
Who is absolutely disgusting in itself.
Famed child rapist, Jerry Sandusky.
He's just, I don't even know what to say. I think Joe Paterno got a bad rap. I know he knew the guy.
He knew.
I'm sure he knew. He heard allegations, but for the school to oust him the way they did was wrong.
Let's not defend Joe Paterno.
I'm defending Joe Paterno.
Oh, geez.
He's a Dago. Us Dagos stick together. I get it. Listen, you guys don't have to have the same view I do, but everything went under the rug back in these early days when this stuff was going on. People did stupid things and people didn't come forward and say anything like they do now. But now it's to a point where it's ridiculous because Joe Paterno did not do to them kids what this fucking scumbag did. He's a fucking scumbag. Jerry Sandusky is a scumbag and he should rot in hell. For him to still be alive fucking pisses me off.
He's despicable.
He's despicable. They should castrate him like they used to do. Cut his wang off so he can't ever do that to a little kid ever again. Weirdo.
Weirdo.
Freak. So anyway.
All right,
And now we have one more to our coaches, Mount Rushmore. And I'm going to tell you what. I've been thinking about it. Me and Bruce were really digging into this. And the Baylor Bears, the University of Baylor, had students there, 31 of them. They were sexually assaulting the students on campus.
Oh, wow.
And the coaching staff knew about it and did nothing about it. They fired their recent coach just in this off season. One of them were fired. But these allegations were going on when Matt Rule was still there.
Wow. Well,
Matt Rule bailed to the NFL, to the Carolina Panthers.
Question for
Hold
you.
on now.
Okay.
Doesn't that sound familiar?
does.
Didn't somebody else do something scumbag
It's very
like
Pete
that?
Carroll and Meyer like.
Pete Carroll. So guess what? Matt Rule is Pete Carroll Jr.
Wow.
He's a scumbag. He just made it to my Mount Rushmore.
Wow. I was going to say.
Just because of what he did. I don't like the fact that he bailed. Urban Meyer, I got health issues. I'm going to bail so I don't have to reap the consequences of the teams getting suspended. That's what I mean by scumbags.
Well,
I'm not saying that he was doing the actual banging or doing anything like that. What I'm saying is he knew about it. Okay. Now, am I saying to take Matt Rule's statue down from Baylor? No, I don't care.
Well, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Rather than single out Matt Rule, this has gone on through multiple coaching staffs.
Correct.
Maybe instead of having Matt Rule, we just put the entire Baylor Bears program into the Scumbag Hall of Fame.
No, because he's the head of it.
He's the
head
okay.
Of the snake always needs to get chopped off.
There it is.
And he was there when it started.
Because if he didn't know,
He
he
knew.
could have defended the fact that he didn't know.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Guess
He
what?
bailed.
Guess
When you
what?
bail.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. And Pete Carroll didn't know that USC was going to be on suspension for 7 years. Fuck him. He knew. He's a liar. He's a scumbag.
Scumbag.
That's why he bailed.
So-
That's why he bailed.
The scumbag, the coaching Scumbag Hall of Fame is as follows. Pete Carroll, Urban Meyer, Matt Rule.
No, Jerry Sandusky, then Matt Rule.
Jerry Sandusky might be George
Yeah, you know what?
You gotta
know
have-
what?
Yeah.
I agree.
It's-
Jerry Sandusky is the new George Washington.
Sandusky, Carroll, Meyer,
Pete Carroll
Rule.
is Thomas Jefferson.
Okay.
Okay, who's Teddy Roosevelt or Abraham Lincoln?
Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer's Abraham Lincoln, and then Matt Rule is Teddy Roosevelt.
Teddy.
There you go.
Wow. And if you're curious as to why we picked who we picked for the Scumbag Hall of Fame, we'll also have a blog up about that this week. And you can check it out on our socials too.
Why are you laughing?
Bruce is gonna do something great.
Is that out?
Why is
Am I
it
out of
me?
am I out of hand right
Scumbag
now?
Hall of Fame.
Am I
He's
gonna
gotta
get his
do it.
canceled?
Yeah, but you're gonna make it. Jerry Sandusky
Am I
is
gonna get
George
his canceled?
Washington.
I
No.
I
This
hope
is
not.
This is great.
Listen,
No, I'll just put a
listen.
picture.
He's that prick fucker. I don't like I don't
That
like
prick
people.
fucker.
Listen to me, people. And the killing part is that man was still doing that years later, and it took one of the assistant coaches actually called him out. He was a player that called him out. The tight end kid that played at Penn State was the one who started the whistleblowing about Sandusky.
Yeah.
And it's just too bad.
That really
you know,
is too
all
bad.
them kids, young kids. Because, kids from the neighborhood would go to the facilities and use the facilities too. And this fucking scumbag was predatoring on all these fucking kids, And finally, when it was all brought to the attention, listen, the older guys, I get what they are. Did he probably know? Probably deep down, he probably knew, hey, this guy's a fucking weirdo. But the guy was married, had kids, had grandkids. Did he know the guy was a fucking weirdo? Probably not, dude. Because back then, people minded their own business. They didn't get in everybody's business like they do today. That's why. And then you didn't have social media and everything else like you do now.
Yeah.
You didn't have all that. If you would have had that back then, these assholes would have been executed. It would have been perfect. But you didn't have that back then. And, I don't know if Pennsylvania has a death penalty. I think every state should have the death penalty.
Oh, Jesus
But
Christ. Here we go.
What? Am I wrong? Every state should have the death penalty for weirdos and freaks.
Period.
It's a pretty hot take.
That's a hot take.
You know what you just came up with? You came up with the name of the episode.
What?
Weirdos and Freaks.
Weirdos and freaks.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening and or watching.
I hope I wasn't too far out of the realm today.
No, you were spot on. It was great.
Yeah? You think I'm right?
Yeah, I think you're good.
Really? You think I'm right?
I think you're
You
right
agree
about
with
everything. We're in full agreement today.
Okay. All right.
We're in full
Bruce?
All good over here, man.
I think everybody can universally agree that Jerry Sandusky's a fucking scumbag. You're not too
I hate
far.
that motherfucker.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening to and or watching another episode of the Tip Balls podcast. Make sure to follow us on our socials, Instagram and Twitter at Tip Balls. Hey, follow the Twitter. I retweet some good shit on there. TikTok at Tip Balls podcast. Make sure to check out tipballs.com for our blogs, merch updates, events, news, and more. And as always, you'll hear from us next week.
Am I perfect?